and welcome. I'm Helen Tite.
And I'm Pat Taylor.
This is Pat Taylor, and we're here for Woman's Hour. What on earth is that going to be about? Well, this is the first of many, hopefully, if we do a good job today. Firstly, I just want to say thank you, Chaos, for letting us be here. I know that we're saving getting Pudge to put his feet up for a little while. But the show, what is it about? We're going to talk about topical details, topical information. We've got friends and amazing women that we're going to have some conversations with, explore hot topics. I said that. I think I said that, didn't I?
Right, you can say it.
And then we're just going to chat. And we're going to chat about women's stuff, you know, the stuff that gets right on our nerves, the stuff that really kind of grinds our gears a little bit, but also we're really going to talk about being well and being fabulous. So contact us, because we want you to join the conversation and we want you to get in touch with us. So please get in touch. So you can text Chaos and text your message, so 82228, or you can email us on hello, this is chaos.co.uk, and don't forget hashtag keep it chaos, woo woo. So ask us questions. We don't have all the answers, but we'll certainly have a good go at it. So we'll hear from you soon.
And today's topic that we'd like you to call us or email us about is women being gaslighted. So do you know what it means? What are your thoughts on it? And where does banter turn into baiting?
Ooh, banter to baiting. Yeah, this is a subject that's actually recently come up as a TV documentary. They've done some research on the beer industry, beer craft industry, and they've talked about sexism within the industry, and it's really interesting to listen to what's going on around women in the workplace. So we want to sort of dig deep and learn, you know, which bit's great, which bit is women moving forward towards equality, and then which bit is actually that's really inappropriate and we no longer want to hear certain language or behaviours. So yeah, get in touch.
And have you got any experiences of it? Share it with us and then we can discuss it really openly. We'd like to hear how you feel about it. You're going to talk now, aren't you, about coming up today. We've got an exciting day today, so...
Okay, so we've got scripts and all sorts, which is really exciting. And here's the thing, you know, when you're all hot, your glasses steam up and you're looking down trying to read like, oh, what's up next?
And we need scripts.
Right, so I'll tell you, I've got a dear friend called Linda Evans. I've known her for a very long time. She is coming onto the show today. We're going to interview her around being a silver influencer. She actually prefers to hear the term diamond influencer, but once again, we'll discuss that. So she is making waves on the Instagram platform as a woman who's aging, and we want to celebrate that with her today. Also, what's coming up, we're going to talk about the subject of sleep. Who wants to sleep anyway?
Oh, me, please, please.
Particularly in this climate right now. So we want to talk about that with you. But first, what I'd like to do is a little bit about what we do, our passion, our interest, why on earth are we here? And I'm going to hand over to my friend, Pat.
Thank you very much.
Hiya, love.
Hiya, love. All right. We haven't seen each other for a little while, so bear with us if we chat on. So we love to talk about well-being. That's at our heart. It's our passion. It's the heart of what we do. And we're going to talk about well-being. But today, and let me kind of explain it to you. So we talk about 4 pillars, the lovely Dr. Chatterjee, and it is, let me get it right, sleep, eat, move and rest well. So think about those 4. Today we're going to talk about moving and how do we move well in this heat wave. We have to still keep moving, and we love to exercise, don't we? But we have to move to keep ourselves, our bodies and our minds fit and well. So how are we going to do that today and for this coming week when it's so hot?
I know. So when we start talking about being well, actually there are only 4 principles of living, right?
Yeah.
And that is to move, because you need to hunt, and then you need to eat, and then you need to chill, because when you're chilling, you're doing all sorts of saucy things as well, because that is our primal instinct. And then finally, sleep. So the key messages around being well are very simple, and we're really interested to hear about other people and what do they do to improve their wellness. So yeah, we can now come off into, talking about mental health. We can talk about mental well-being and other spin-offs around nutrition and so on. But actually, fundamentally, there's 4 things that we need to do to feel good about ourselves. And to remind us, that's to eat, because we need to eat to live, right? We need to move because we need to hunt. We need to rest because we've got full bellies, and then we need to sleep because we need to reset all our systems in our body before we move forward. So it makes us talk about this subject a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we end up getting on our soapboxes. So let's talk about, to start with, and like everything, life is around feeling well and feeling, we've come out of crazy times right now, right?
Yeah, completely crazy.
So when we talk about well-being, sometimes it doesn't feel like it's talking about being healthy, but actually environment that we're in at the moment, we're in quite a mentally toxic environment these days, dealing with the pandemic. And yesterday was what? What was the day called?
Freedom Day. We're going to talk about that later, aren't we?
Freedom Day, yeah. And and how is that impacting you? Are you mask, not mask, vax, anti-vax? What's your environment you're working in? So yeah, that's coming up a little later, isn't it?
Yeah. Or we could talk about it now.
Have I gone off script?
No.
I went off
did.
script.
No, I did. So we'll talk about it now. So yeah, yesterday was Freedom Day. How do you feel about it? I went to Sainsbury's and I was wearing a mask, and I forgot that actually it was Freedom Day. So I went into Sainsbury's, put my mask on, and then the entrance was different because you didn't have to go through one-way system, and I walked around anyway. And then I came across some people without masks, and I was taken aback, and I was like, oh, why haven't you got masks on? And then I realised it clicked. And it was reassuring to me that people were still wearing masks. And I saw 2 people. So it's in Falmouth, Sainsbury's, so it's quite small.
And Falmouth's been hit hard recently,
has,
hasn't it, with COVID?
Yeah, so people are scared, aren't they? So 2 people out the whole store. And I was really, really comfortably reassured by that, because I thought I am going to wear a mask because I have my own opinions. We all have our own opinions, don't we? And we're entitled to our own opinions.
And that's, I think, what we want to, we're keen to share, is that, we are all influenced by what's going on out there, but we all stand in our own pillars.
Yeah.
And I know we sit kind of slightly different, don't we, on our opinions around it?
Do you think?
I think so. I think it's hard because I own a business, and I am worried about the business owners that, and I'm blessed, so I'll be clear about this. I'm blessed that if we have to isolate, that we have this digital world that we operate in, so we can still deliver wellness. But for me as a person, I love people, and I love working live with people. I operate better with humans, and I love digital, don't get me wrong, because I know I can reach more people, but it's really nice to be sat next to my buddies when we're working together. And what frightens me is how quickly your business can be massively impacted. I know of beauty salons and hair salons that have shut down like that, and that's revenue gone. So for the owners, so I see it from an owner's perspective, how challenging this is for people.
Yeah.
And it's scary because you can't control it. And I think that is the thing that so many people are suffering with mental anxiety, social anxiety about, because you can't control this pandemic and what happens next.
Yeah, and I can see it from my family's point of view. So 3 of my family members have had COVID, and we've been isolating on and off for 4 weeks. And that mentally has a huge effect. Yeah. And I'm not one, I'm normally one who copes really well with mental health. But to think about my family, and they're not teenagers, they're in their 20s, being stuck in a room for 4 weeks on and off is really hard to bear and to think about. And then thinking about the potential for myself and my husband, even though we've been lucky enough to not catch it from them, to potentially now still maybe be in that position of catching COVID and then having to isolate again, and then all the
Well,
problems
they're
that go
in
with
people
it.
facing jobs though as well,
are,
and I think
yes.
that's the issue. Is it's not them as such; it is the environments they operate
Yeah.
in. So, and I think so. You know, the restaurant industry, hospitality,
Yeah.
they're really struggling because they don't want to catch it. They don't want to bring it back to your family.
No.
That's going to have an impact on my family and my business. So it's like the journey is colossal. The impact, the ripple effect, and I don't know. Do you think Cornwall is only now?
I think we're now on that wave of COVID hitting us like it has done up country. And I'm a nurse and I've been COVID vaccinated, which is wonderful. So I see the effect it has on people. So yeah, I think we're lucky enough down in Cornwall to have been able to swerve, I suppose, for some of the time, swerve it, and then now we're on that curveball. But we've had our vaccinations, so luckily those that are catching the virus might not be so unwell. And for that, I'm really thankful that we've been able to, most of us have been able to be vaccinated, so that we're not being hospitalised so easily. And not that we're getting away with it, but I think we're lucky that we've had that extra time to be able to be covered ourselves. So it's just kind of keeping ourselves still safe and looking after those people in our communities that are really vulnerable. And I think that's what we need to remember, is that, you know, you might be safe, we might be safe because we've had double vaccines, but not everybody else is.
Yeah. And like, just slightly changing tangent, you know, Ruby Wax wrote a book called Frazzled.
Yeah.
And it's a cracking book because she is she did a master's in mindfulness. We went to see her, didn't we?
Yeah.
And
We
hear her
did.
talk about mindfulness and well-being. But frazzled, what a word now.
Oh, completely.
I just think, and chaos is another word. Hectic. It's like people are utterly burnt out, and I think that's working both sides of the spectrum. That's the people that had to step in, lean up, and just lean in and really go for it during COVID. But also, like you just said, the isolation for some people is just frightening. Just, you know, so I think people are burnt out. My prediction is that this wave coming is going to be a wave of mental health burnout, and we're going to see a lot of people, unless we start to talk about it, and talking about it does have positive consequences, making sure you've got the right support out there to support the stress, and just like the capacity to cope is much less. I know I'm feeling it. So I know my stress levels are topped, and it's very easy for me to go all red mist. And I don't know if that's just a menopause thing, babe, to be honest.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, and you don't want to red mist me.
No.
It's I'll tell you a story, right?
Oh, here we go. Which one?
my eldest reminded me of this story the other day. So she's 21. We were in a DIY store. We were together.
I remember now.
She you know what
you're
I'm saying. She
Oh.
I'm terrible. She was buying some spray can because she's studying art. She didn't have her ID with me. She didn't need to. We were going to a DIY store. She was with me. Clearly looks older than 18, but I do understand the law about you've got to be 25. But there was this girl, young girl, who was the till operator. Daisy got to the till about a minute before me, and we didn't have the basket, so we had our goods scooped in our arms, and Daisy put down the stuff which I was paying for, and in it was a can of spray paint. And the girl looked at Daisy, and then she looked at me, and she said, I'm not serving you. I'm not serving you for that, and unless you've got your ID. And Daisy said, well, I haven't got it. My mum's got the goods. My mum's paying. And she said, no. She said, I can't serve you because you held it and you put it down on the conveyor belt. Well, normally I'd go, I understand that, and I'm really sorry, and I'll be fine. But I didn't. I went nuclear in about 4 seconds. So I went from... So I went, why are you doing that? I said, what if I come back in the store? And she said, I'd refuse to serve you because I know full well that she is going to use the goods. I said, well, it's none of your business. And at that point, and I know rational me will go, she's doing a job. I know that. But you tell menopause me, because she wasn't listening that day. And she went flipping nuclear. I had a hissy fit, shouted at the girl, "Oh my God, I'm dying." And then I threw the goods on the counter and went, "Right, that's it. I'm not going to buy anything." And then I stormed out the store. My daughter
Your poor
was
daughter.
mortified. Mortified. And every time I'm like, "I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm a good mum." She goes, "Should we just talk about the DIY thing, Mum? That's all." Yeah, so I am reminded of my
Your
menopause.
menopausal moments. There are many.
All right, my doll. So, oh God, I shouldn't say that. There's someone in my ear. I'm just getting used to this again. That somebody's talking to me, and so yeah, that was my red mist moment.
Yeah.
And have you ever had a red mist moment? You're gonna go, "No, I'm all
No,
balanced.
really cool.
I'm Pat, the
No.
nurse."
No, not very often. No, I cry. I don't get red mist. I cry.
Yeah, you go wobbly chin,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, always. So if I'm wobbly chin, then I'm having a moment. Yeah, a menopause moment.
Okay, so I think we are handing over to a short video. Is that right? Okay. Oh, if I got a screen. Okay. Right. Hang on. I've forgotten how to do this. I should be much better at this by now. I mean, we're here delivering films all the time,
We
aren't
are,
we? So
yeah.
on a
It's like
Monday
our
and a
second
Friday, we're
home.
here teaching fitness. So why can't I read a script is beyond me. Anyway, here we go. So we're coming up to a little. What are we doing?
What's iCare
Right, what
iMove
are we
about?
doing? Okay, right, okay. I own a business and it's called iCare iMove, and I'm about to tell you all about my business.
And we're not bonkers at all. Welcome to the madness.
So let me tell you, I've been in the field of health and well-being for such a long time, well over 20 years. I get bodies. And do you know what? I really love broken bodies, the people who are slightly wobbly, slightly unsteady. I like all the people out there that aren't supported and haven't got that perfect body. Who cares? I'm not that person. I really embrace and love helping people start to make a difference in their own lives, and that's really what iCare is about.
Yeah.
So iCare Move grew. We took on a real good focus for aging population. We love the aging journey because let's face it, we're all getting out of this place in the same way. So we need to make the most of every minute of our days, and that is really what iCare Moves about. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely, yeah. We've
Got anything to add?
We've just got to look after everybody as we get older.
Well, I tell you what, we've got something to show you. Take a look at this,
Aw.
and then we'll reinforce the message about being well and being fabulous.
So when are you too old to make an effort?
Never. Never.
Never.
Never.
You're never too old, you just keep going. It's the only way, if you've had the setback that some of us here have had with strokes, the essence is to keep going. It mustn't beat you.
What is your biggest dream that you'd like to fulfill?
Get out of that wheelchair going down the town.
My biggest dream is to try and get back to like I was.
I have a Jack Russell. She's very lively, she's very strong, and I can't walk her at the moment because she would pull me over. I'd love to be able to walk Chloe again.
Well, not for myself. I would like the world to be at peace with everybody because I've got a good life, so I don't need anything for myself.
What are the benefits of moving your body?
So I went to my doctor and I said I would like to be referred for physio, and the next day he phoned me back and he told me about the class, and that was the saviour. I asked for physio, and by golly I got physio.
It's very easy to say, no, I'm not doing anything. Can't do it. Never thought I would go upstairs again. Now if you like, I'm looking forward to walking up those stairs. It was an achievement. In fact, I wanted to go down and do it again because I couldn't believe it.
I have never ever met anybody like you and Pat. For what you're doing for older people, it's just amazing. I can't wait to get there, to Pilates. I know after, I'm going to be back to where I was before, walking with and that is you.
Wow, what did you think to that? We're all getting old, how quickly is up to you. I'm Helen Tite, this is Pat Taylor, and we are here for Woman's Hour at the Chaos Studios, in the sunshine, in the shade. It is fabulous here today. So we're going to go over live now because we've got a new guest. Her name is Linda Evans, and she is, in fact, her name on my phone is Linda the Fabulous Evans.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
afternoon, Linda.
How are you, my darling?
I'm fine. I keep thinking that Pat's about to do the weather, though.
Oh, do you? Oh, I could do. I could practice, couldn't I?
Yeah, we're in the right positions for that today. Thank you, Linda, for being here today. This is our first formal show for Woman's Hour because we have been brought in many times over the years to be, I think, sometimes a bit of a comedy act for the Chaos people. But when I did my hit list of people that I wanted to target and talk to, one of them was you. And I've known you, Linda, for a long time, but you've got a great story to tell. So here you are. And we won't actually talk about age because that's not what this is about. This is about being fabulous and being an influencer on Instagram. So where did this start?
Oh, well, I suppose it started about 5 years ago when I was told I was going to have to do Instagram for the company that I worked for. And at the time, I knew nothing about it. So I opened an account. And I worked for a hair product brand. So I just started to talk about hair and communicate with hairdressers. And then I thought I'd like to do a blog. So it seemed to me that Instagram was the way to promote the blog. But I've learned since that almost blogs it's very difficult to actually get people to go to a blog unless it's specifically linked to something like a book or a story. So it was almost easier to tell my stories on Instagram. I suppose the only thing I didn't like about that is that it's condensed, and I like writing, and it would have been nice always to write sort of features. I almost saw myself as having a little magazine. But with my second account, which is called Behind the Woman, I very much wanted to do, in a way, what you're doing, but on a different level, and that was reaching out to any woman really over 40 who maybe loses their way in terms of how they do their makeup and how they style themselves, and just to give them ideas and inspire them. And it's kind of grown from there. It's now no longer just about how you look, but also how you feel and who you are, and that's how it's developed, I guess.
So tell me, do you think over time you may have lost your identity simply because you're getting older?
I actually, in fact, did a blog on that last year where I felt that I had lost my identity. And really, it happened when I came to Cornwall because I was used to going to lots of events. And it wasn't about my age. And the one thing I will say, having worked in the hairdressing industry for a very long time, is that there is no ageism. There are lots of well-known hairdressers, top hairdressers, who are in their 50s, 60s and 70s, who are still up there at the top. So it was something that I wasn't used to. I was used to walking into a room and people knowing me, and I was with people that were sort of well-known in that industry. And then I moved down here and we joined a yacht club because we bought a boat, and I wasn't really a yachty, and I'd be introduced to somebody, and then a week later I was often introduced to them again, and they didn't seem to know me. And then I thought, oh my God, I'm becoming invisible. And it was the only time in my life that I've felt like that. And then in the end, I decided I had to get over it. And it wasn't about me, it was about them. And actually, it was often, I think, those people who had done something similar to us, in that they'd moved from Cornwall, they'd given up their jobs, they'd often taken early retirement. And I think they had lost their self. It wasn't me. I don't think I ever did. And once I got that into my head, then I didn't care. And it's never happened to me again.
And that is really such a powerful statement for our viewers, that it's not about you, it's about them. And once you put that power back in yourself, then you are capable of doing everything and anything. And that's really just the most fantastic thing, quite an inspirational thing for, and I'm going to say here, women, because this is Women's Hour. So, tell me, if you could do it again, what would you change in terms of Instagram to start with?
I probably wouldn't have chosen the name, actually, because I don't know, behind the woman. For me, it was about behind who the person you are and being your best self. But I don't know. I'm not sure that it gives the right message now. Some people get it and some people don't. But I am, it's too late to change it. I've got not too many followers. That sounds arrogant. And by the way, I don't like the word influencer either. I mean, they say to be a true influencer, you have to have a following of around 100,000 people. And I'm way, 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 down the list before that. But I would like to say it's about inspiring, not about influencing, because influencing to me is quite an arrogant thing. And it's also implies sort of selling and forcing people to do something. I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. I'm suggesting and giving ideas.
I think that's really insightful, and actually that's something that we can really use with our viewers, because I didn't know that. I didn't realise that calling you an influencer actually has the wrong connotation. And yet, in my mind, we think about young girls in their 20s that are paid to sell dresses and stuff. But recently there was an article about being an influencer as you age. I think I couldn't remember the phrase. Can you enlighten me on this?
And when you said silver influencer, yeah, it was in the Times the week before last. And certainly there are more and more people. I mean, they were quoting people from all over the world. There was an old Japanese man who was in his 80s and his wife had died, and his son wanted to get him out of his misery, I suppose, and his grieving. And this old man always wore kind of quirky street clothes. So he started dressing his grandfather up even more. And now brands are sending him clothes, and the pictures were amazing of him. So I think it's people sharing who they are. Sometimes it is people that have got a son or a daughter or a granddaughter or grandson who are behind them and are helping them create this image. I suppose for me, I mean, I love fashion, and a lot of the people I follow are fashion people, and a lot younger than me as well. But so that's where I get my own ideas from. But you also have to share what you are good at. So I've been a makeup artist and I've worked in the hair industry, so I understand hair products and hairdressing, even though I can't cut hair. So for me, it's sharing those ideas and that knowledge and trying to make people move forwards continually so that they grow and they don't stagnate, which I think is really important as you age.
Yeah, I think, again, that's just another fantastic message for the viewers, that standing still is not how we are. It's so good for your well-being to keep progressing and moving forward in life, exploring, learning new things. And that is one of the advantages of Instagram. So can I just ask you about one of the disadvantages of Instagram? Haven't you had quite a lot of male interest?
Oh, an awful lot. And for me, it's because I do work with brands now. It's a nuisance because it skews who my followers are, and I'm deleting probably 100 people every day, or I should say men. But I had a rant about it on one of my posts a few weeks ago, and someone contacted me and said, if you look at my account, you're not going to see this, but actually I'm a policewoman and I'm working on a government directive to try and get law passed to stop men sending images to women, as I've been sent quite a few pictures of people's genitals, and I often think they're not the genitals actually of the person that sent them to me, but you know, and to me that is incredibly irritating.
Yeah.
But it's not, well, it does shock me to a certain extent, but it's not disturbing me, shall I say. But I could be a 15-year-old, I could be a 14-year-old, I could be a 30-year-old who isn't confident, or a 60-year-old who isn't confident. And therefore it's very wrong. And okay, there are certain countries in the world, and I better not say it because it almost makes me sound racist, but there are certain groups of men from certain countries that regularly follow me and don't necessarily communicate with me, but just follow me. And it's like, you know, what do they want? I suppose they're hoping you will then follow them and start communicating with them, and then they'll ask you for money. But you know, it's a ridiculous thing, and I think it's terribly wrong that Instagram can't stop this. But you know, it's the way of the world with social media, and I think you have to be quite hard and quite canny to get on the platform, and you have to use it for the good side. I mean, interestingly, there are a lot of lonely people on there that really value the communication with other people. And I've noticed that even sending out certain messages, people really respect that you are communicating with them.
Yeah, and I think that's for me, the reason why I started using Instagram is because I'm dyslexic, and I know that you writing for you, Linda, is a craft, and it's been your career. So writing for me was never fun. If it came out of my gob, it was all right. But out of my fingers, not so much. So Instagram for me was like the savior, because I could communicate what I do and the craziness in my life in the power of pics. Now it's changed, and I asked you this recently, but it's changed. It's not just about the pictures now. I mean, let's talk about how many hours a day do you put into your work as an Instagram inspirational inspirer. There you go.
Too many hours, actually, because one of the things that's important is communication. Obviously, I do research. I do research how to grow my following, and I am lucky enough to get paid by some brands and get gifted things from other brands, which I always say, if I don't like whatever you've sent me, be it makeup or a hair product, I'm not going to promote it for the sake of it. I have to be authentic. That's really important. But it's a strange world, and I have to communicate with people. So I kind of talk to other influencers, using the term now for want of another word, so that you build communications, and then they can talk about you. So it's the one side of it is communication, which makes sense to me, having been a PR. But the other side of it is being relevant to what your following want. And it's very easy to go off on a tangent. And sometimes, I mean, I've learned that if I just put a picture of a product up, then I don't get the reach. I don't get my post going so wide as I do if it's me. Okay. So if a brand says to me, I just want you to post a picture of my product, I know that it might be targeted if I use the right hashtags, but it's not going to get the attraction that it does if it's me wearing makeup or me wearing an outfit.
Okay, so what are your top 3 tips, your top 3 take-homes for our viewers today?
From a perspective of wanting to go on social media, or for
those
aging?
who aspire to be on Instagram and create followings just like yourself?
Oh goodness. Well, you've got to start, and you've got to find people that are that have something in common with you. So, with my original account, in lockdown, I changed it because I used to talk about hairdressing and I used to communicate with hairdressers, and then I wasn't going to London where I worked half the week. In fact, I wasn't really working at all. I was just writing. So I changed it to talking about Cornwall and food. So I follow lots of people in Cornwall, and I follow the hashtags, things like Cornwall, Cornwall Live, Cornwall Coast, Cornwall Food, Cornwall Living. And then you will, if other people are following those hashtags, you will also appear on their page. So there you find people that have got something in common with you. The other thing is to have a look, and I still don't think I've achieved this, and there's some people I follow. There's one lady I follow who lives in Torquay, and all her pictures are kind of blue and white and look like the seaside even in the middle of winter, and she rarely has colour, and I'm very envious, but I've never achieved that. So you need to have a look. You're building a brand, so you have to have something that identifies you. Okay. And then the third thing is the messaging. So what are you there for? Why are you talking to someone, and what's the purpose of your being there? And it might be that you have a private account that only friends and people that you allow into it can see. And I think in that case, it's very much about you and you personally. But if it's an account that's open to the world, then you have to think, what are you sharing that other people will want to see?
Brilliant. Okay. And then my final question to you, what's the future? What happens next with you and Behind the Woman?
I suppose, I mean, one thing is that I'm competitive, and so I'm almost always trying to prove something to myself. And I never wanted to retire. So whilst it's not giving me much of an income at the moment, it is like a job. And as you say, I spend a lot of time on it, and I spend a lot of time learning and researching. So I've had to learn how to edit videos. I've had to learn how to set up lighting and set up shoots. And whilst I've done all of that through my career, I've always had experts doing the things, and suddenly I'm having to do it all myself. So the next thing is to improve everything I do, and hopefully to make a bit more money out of it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Linda, for being here today. I'm going to finish by saying I look forward to seeing you soon. I look forward to your daughter's wedding, and look forward to going out on the boat with you. Please come back. I'd love to talk to you in a bit more detail in the future around makeup and skincare, because I know how important that is, and such a great part of the work you do. But actually, you're just an amazing character. So I'd love you to come back and see us on Woman's Hour in the future.
And I could tell you some of my menopause stories too.
Oh, yes, please, my love. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Linda.
Bye. Okay, thank you very much. That was lovely, Linda Evans. Here we are, if you're just tuning in. I'm Helen Tite, this is Pat Taylor, and we are Woman's Hour. Okay, coming next is...
We're going to talk about sleep.
We're going to talk about what? Sleep.
Sleep.
Who wants sleep?
Who
It's
needs
underrated
sleep?
Anyway. Okay, so ask me the questions. Firstly, haven't we got a couple of questions we've got to answer before we do the sleep? Okay. I got to show you that. So we're just figuring it all out, but my screen's gone, so I can't read, and then my glasses are all, and it's only on my screen, so
I can't see it.
So behind the scenes, they're saying this is why sleep is important. So okay, well, we're bringing up the questions from our listeners. Sleep.
I've got some stats. Shall I read
You've got
out
some
the
stats?
stats?
Oh, yes,
while we're
please.
waiting? So the average amount of sleep that people residing in the UK get each weeknight is 6.66 hours. So, blimey, 6 hours. People in London and the West Midlands get the most sleep of anyone in the country at an average of 6.78 hours per weeknight, with over 60% of people living in these areas getting more than 7 hours per night. Wow.
That's just shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, I need much more than that. I need about 9 hours sleep, I think.
So the sciencey bit.
Yeah.
is you circadian rhythms. You're hardwired within 6 weeks from birth to where your sleep pattern. So this is kind of interesting. So if you're born in Australia and then have moved to the UK, you really struggle with your sleep for a while because you're hardwired to be somewhere else in a different hemisphere. Did you know that?
No, but don't they say if you were born at night time, then you struggle to sleep in the day?
Because you hardwire. So again, it's kind of this. I talk about caveman, cavewoman stuff a lot, don't I?
Yeah.
But it is that primal development from birth. But sleep. Seriously, people aren't getting enough of it. And earlier on, we were talking about being frazzled. So sleep. Top tips.
Top tips are for me. Try not to. Well, actually, sometimes I sleep better if I have a little nana nap.
A nana nap. Oh God, a 20-minute or 5 minutes. Oh, 5 minutes.
And then I sleep better. But most of the time, people shouldn't nap in the day. And then we talk a lot about sleep hygiene.
I disagree.
Do you?
Yeah.
You sleep better if you have a nap.
I love a little nap.
Yeah.
And it might be 5 minutes. It could be two. It could be a 2 hour. Who knows? But right. So setting the scene.
Yeah.
Going to bed at night. It's about setting the scene. Now I kid you not. The candles, the smelly fragrance. A bit of lavender oil on your pillow. All of that stuff actually contributes to quality sleep. So there's different types of sleep, but actually to get good night's sleep, firstly you've got to kill the tech. So the IT goes off. That's the first thing you need to do. And to start, and because the energy that you get from technology really affects your sleeping pattern, and what you need is deep sleep. The tech keeps you in a high level of sleep and not into the deep sleep. And deep sleep is when your nervous system is rebooting, particularly in the later hours of your sleep. So setting the scene, really important. We all talk about sliding into clean, fresh bed linen. There's nothing nicer, is there? And lovely pajamas. Are you pajamas or are you noddy?
I'm not pajamas. I can't sleep in pajamas. I'm too hot. So a vest top and Nicks.
Vest top. I'm noddy.
Are you?
But if we've got guests or we've been harbouring some harboring refugees. I nearly said that. It sounds like we've got some of my daughter's friends staying in our house because their family have COVID, so they've come back from uni and just moved into ours. So we're back in jammies in our house. But yeah, so that's important.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So where you sleep, how you sleep. So Pat, tell me about how you sleep.
I sleep. So I love to get in a cool bed, but in the winter I like a hot bed. So sometimes I lift my duvet up and put the hairdryer under my duvet so it's lovely and warm. But I sleep on my front. So I sleep on my front like that, like this. So one arm down and one arm up and one knee up, and it's the only way I can get off to sleep.
So it's almost like a recovery position.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
we're a bit boring, really. Aren't we?
We always we talk about sleep or what we've had for breakfast. Normally, we start our day with what we've had for breakfast, and now we've slept.
But actually, interesting. The Japanese used to partly because the Japanese geishas they used to sleep with like this brick under the back of their neck because they would have their hair done.
Yeah, of course.
But actually there's so much data and research from times back and times gone. Lying flat is really, really important because it stops changing the shape of your anatomy, and it allows for lymphatic drainage, because when you lie face down
you get wrinkles,
but if you drain, everything's a good thing. So ladies, it's a really good thing if you lie flat. I sleep on one feather, and look at me, honestly.
You're full of information, aren't you?
Okay, listen guys, we're just going to move on quickly because we started this today. We wanted to talk about gaslighting. We never got round to the subject because we were so busy introducing ourselves and got carried away with Linda Evans, and it's all lovely. But I'm going to read you two of these things that have come up from our viewers today. So Myla Shepherdess, she says, on the subject of gaslighting, I've been in this situation many times as a female manager with a male line manager having sexist comments said to me. with a smile and a wink, as though this has been a cheeky character, but I knew if I complained it would have made my life very comfortable at work. I think it varies from business to business, but women shouldn't feel like a complainer when they just want the same respect extended to them that men have. What do you think to that?
Absolutely. I think, in today's age, there's no reason why we shouldn't be treated equally. And we still do see it, don't we? Opinions and I can't think of the word. It's gone from my head.
I just think, we've got a long way to go, and it isn't banter. And
No.
I think that's the thing, because in my business career, I have come shoulder to shoulder with many men that think they got a chance, and I'm telling you, they've got one chance, and that's bugger off.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's one tally.
Attitudes,
I
I was
that.
thinking. Attitudes.
Like, it's not on.
No.
And it's not. I'll read you the second. Listen to this one, because we've got another one that's coming in. My daughter, who's just graduated as a law student, was chosen to attend barristers chambers, to meet experienced barristers, and had her bottom pinched by a male barrister who told her that she'd have to sleep her way to the top if she had no contacts to progress. She was shocked. If this is the attitude at the top of the legal system, how is she supposed to break through these glass walls, ceilings?
Isn't that disgusting?
Horrendous.
And how old is she? Probably 21?
Well, I don't know.
She must, if she's just going through.
Yeah, if she's just graduated.
Yeah, she must be
she's about
21,
21.
22.
But yeah, that's horrendous.
And what a way to start your career.
Yeah, having your bottom pinched.
Yeah, by an older man.
Yeah.
And how awful. How awful. And how dare they?
Many moons ago, I worked for a big organisation, and we used to work around the country, and I'd have to sit on the sidelines while they all played on the golf course, and all decisions made, and then they come back in, and I'd always get there, it's all right, love, we've got this. Oh my God.
What?
And then the accusations that I slept my way to management, like, honestly, really?
Yeah.
Really? So, yeah, it is awful. I really think we need to explore this as a topic next time.
Yeah.
So in our next show, I really want to come back down to this, because I think we've got a really cracking guest coming on from the brewery industry, hopefully, to come and chat to us about experiences. And I follow some really cool people on Instagram that actually are putting it up there where women are not being supported around this issue of gaslighting. What is it exactly? And let's get down into the bare bones in our next session. I promise I will carry on with this, because we've had quite a lot of things coming in asking us around this subject.
Yeah, and if you've got any questions or you've got some comments, send them in and we can talk about it as well. We're really open to discussions.
So, there you go. That's us, top of the hour. How did we do? What do you want to hear from with us? And we'd love to hear back from you. So that's us from today. I'm Helen Ty of iCare and Move, and the lovely Pat Taylor. So check us out. This is how you get in touch with us. It's coming up on the screen. You can always send messages via Chaos. They go, bear with. I love this live stuff. I'm Helen Ty. This is iCare Move. If you want to get in touch with us, contact us via info@icaremove.com. I tell you, it's all fun and games here. But like we want to grow this. We want to grow our viewers. We want to see, talk to us. If you think you've got a story to tell, come on and share it with us. And we've had a great time today.
We need your help.
And I have to say, so the Chaos people, always, we've got a soft spot for. We love you dearly behind the scenes. These guys work really, really hard. And as we all care, we all want to make a difference in the world, sharing our love and kindness and making people feel well. So next time, we've got all sorts of fun and laughter coming on, but always look out for us, because you know what? We are fabulous and we want to share our fabulous with others. So thanks for being here today. You are incredible, and thanks for listening to all our shenanigans and me and my temperature. Is that enough? Did I fill? Oh, I got a fill. I got a fill for 15 15 seconds. Don't get don't get me talking about filling, like, hang on.
Fill in a
Oh,
little
there's
bit
a
of
face.
time.
Where'd you get that hair from? I got it from no top